I, Dame Cheryl Gillan, the Joint Returning Officer for the Conservative and Unionist Party leadership election, declare that the total number of eligible electors was 159,320. The turnout in the election was 87.4%. The total number of ballot papers rejected was 509. And the total number of votes given to each candidate was as follows. Jeremy Hunt, 46,656. Boris Johnson, 92,153. And therefore I give notice that Boris Johnson is elected as the leader of the Conservative and Unionist Party.
Dressed in orange jumpsuits and shackled to other prisoners, 2 Melbourne nightclub promoters have been paraded on a walk of shame in Bali. Charged with cocaine possession, investigators say they've offered up the name of a supplier in the hope of leniency.
From leading Melbourne's nightclub scene to humiliation and handcuffs, how things have changed for Will Cabintog and David Van Eersel.
Are you going to fight the allegations?
Police say they'd been in pursuit for a week following a tip Cabintog had been dealing in party hotspot Canggu. Officers swooping at Lost City early Friday and finding the pair in an office, allegedly with just over a gram of cocaine, and later returning positive urine tests. With further raids uncovering just a set of scales, for now the men are accused only of possession and facing between 4 and 12 years behind bars.
In other news, Chinese and Russian military aircrafts have entered South Korea's air defense zone and airspace, prompting the South Korean military to take action. Seoul summoned officials from the two countries' embassies to protest the violations. Kim Ji-yeon with more.
5 foreign military aircraft entered South Korea's Air Defense Identification Zone, or KADIZ, without authorization on Tuesday morning. 2 of the jets were Chinese, while the other 3 were Russian. The incident started after 2 Chinese H-6 aircraft entered the northwestern part of KADIZ at 6:44 a.m. and went in and out of KADIZ until later joined by 2 Tu-95 Russian bombers. Then they headed south. The jets were flying close at an estimated 3 to 6 kilometers away from each other. South Korea's Joint Chief of Staff said it was the first time Chinese and Russian planes have entered KADIZ simultaneously. An early warning and control A-50 Russian aircraft then trespassed into the East Sea twice near Dokdo Island, first at around 9 a.m. for a total of 7 minutes. This prompted the Air Force to scramble fighter jets and fire a total of 360 rounds of warning shots.
Another night in the dark as a nationwide power cut leaves millions without electricity. Lights were out in more than half of Venezuela's 23 states, including the capital, Caracas. Cancelled metro stations and disabled traffic lights caused huge traffic jams, forcing people to find other ways to commute. The country's main airport was also in the dark, leaving hundreds of travellers stranded. The government blames the blackout on some of its opponents, who it says sabotaged a power station.
El gobierno bolivariano de Venezuela.
The first indications received from the investigation point to the existence of an electromagnetic attack that sought to affect the hydroelectric generation system of Guyana, the main provider of this service in the country.
Clovis Casali is there. And Clovis, despite the strong opposition, the government has managed to get the result it wanted this afternoon.
Indeed, and it's sweet victory, of course, for President Emmanuel Macron and his government, who are pushing for this free trade agreement between the European Union and Canada. The Parliament, the French Parliament, has voted in favour by 266 votes, as opposed to 213 against. It's worth pointing out that the EU-Canada free trade agreement was provisionally put in place, took effect as of September 2017, but it still needs to be approved by all EU member states. So there's still quite some way to go. Some countries, such as Italy, for instance, are believed to be opposed to this free trade agreement.
Now to the manhunt underway for the killer of a University of Mississippi college student. A 21-year-old student was found dead not far from campus. Officials believe she was the victim of foul play.
Cecilia, good morning. We know that Allie Costello was attending summer school here at Ole Miss and was teaching fitness, and police believe she was murdered. And this morning they are in the middle of a manhunt for her killer. This morning, a multi-agency manhunt is underway as concern grips this small Mississippi college town. Authorities hunting for a suspect in the apparent murder of Allie Costello. The 21-year-old senior at the University of Mississippi was found dead over the weekend, nearly 20 miles off campus. A deputy on routine patrol finding her body near Sardis Lake in neighboring Harmontown. Costello was studying marketing at the university, where the deepening mystery has classmates on edge.
Sandra, good morning. This is the front line. It has been the front line over the last, today, 11 days of protests. This is La Fortaleza at the end of this road. That is the governor's mansion, and this is where police first confront protesters. And if you see this morning in Old San Juan, this is rubber bullet casings that are all over the roads here in Old San Juan. You can see the bullet casing there. These are all over the place here, and even the smell of tear gas still in the air. Last night, take a look at this video. There was confrontation after the police they say they had warned protesters 4 times to stop throwing rocks, and at that point, they didn't. So they obviously unleashed tear gas, and people had to disperse throughout the streets. We don't have any word on injuries, but we do know that one car was lit on fire here from one of those tear gas canisters. This on a historic day, by the way. Earlier in the day, take a look at this video. Some 500,000 protesters estimated to walk Las Americas Expressway, blocking the highway, protesting and asking for Governor Ricardo Rosselló to resign because they believe he is corrupt and there's been mismanagement of millions of dollars.
When says I will face, who can prevent him? And sabi ko naman, we will face because we claim it. And sabi ko, please allow, because before that they were driving away our fishermen. Di ba inaabog nila? Kaya sabi ko, do not drive them away because the Filipinos are of the belief that they are also declaiming. Ipadala ko yung Marines ko to drive away the Chinese fishermen. I guarantee you, not one of them will come home alive.
Get away from the door. From catching thieves in the act to cute kids on the front porch.
I love you!
To solving kidnappings. Doorbell cameras have gone viral. Now some cities are partnering with Amazon to distribute its Ring cameras at a discount to deter crime. The Walcott, Connecticut Police Department says the cameras have already solved 3 burglaries.
Whether it's an inner city, whether it's a rural area, people want to be safe in their own homes.
Police have no access to watch the cameras live. Amazon Ring says the footage remains in the cloud for 2 months, controlled by the homeowner, who remains anonymous. If a crime occurs, police ask Ring to ask the homeowners if they'd share the video. But some privacy advocates warn more surveillance will unfairly impact minorities.
We've already seen in the past several years a lot of high-profile instances of people policing black folks and brown folks who they don't think belong in their neighborhood.
The new rescue ship is called Ocean Viking. Registered in Norway, its crew includes doctors and a midwife. Run by European charities SOS Mediterranee and Doctors Without Borders, its mission is to save lives in the Mediterranean Sea. Migration experts say that more than 420 people have died this year, attempting the dangerous crossing to Europe from Libya, where increased violence has made the situation.
The deadly journey across the Mediterranean Sea is, for the men, women and children who embark on it, the only possible way of fleeing the nightmare in the situation in Libya: rape, torture and slavery.
Ocean Viking is now in the North Sea, on its way to the Mediterranean. It's a welcome resumption of operations for SOS Mediterranee. Its previous ship, the Aquarius, was barred from entering Italy by far-right Interior Minister Matteo Salvini in June 2018.